facts are fairly simple. Gender barriers can be eliminated when organizations meet people where they are and aim for equitable opportunities for success. The humanitarian and peacekeeping workforces of tomorrow, I would argue, must reflect those they support and defend. Your Excellency, ladies and gentlemen, especially the UN Women's Team, thank you for this incredible opportunity, an incredibly humbling opportunity to speak. I'm Captain Corey Braddock of the United States Coast Guard, and I'm excited to participate in this critically important dialogue on women's empowerment and equitable opportunities in military and peacekeeping operations. It's also very special for me to be here in Seoul. You see, from 2001 to 2003, I was stationed in a small U.S. Army garrison about 15 miles north of here in the outskirts of Uijeonbu at a small Army camp formerly named Camp Stanley. Those were 2 wonderful years for me. As an Army aviator, I saw large swaths of this wonderful countryside from the front seat of a UH-60 Black Hawk helicopter. I made wonderful friends, and I learned of Korea's wonderful and welcoming culture, and I made lasting connection with Republic of Korea military teammates. And if that's not nostalgic enough, in 2002, on a mountain hike just north of Uijeonbu, I also proposed marriage to my wife of now 20 years. My military career is somewhat unique. I was commissioned in 1996 in the United States Army at West Point. I served for 8 years in that service and then have committed the last 19 to the U.S. Coast Guard. Both organizations have allowed me to fulfill my 2 greatest passions, piloting military helicopters and leading others. I've had the opportunity to do both while assigned ashore and at sea, on the ground and in the air, and throughout many places in the world. And what I've learned and what I think anchors me to today's discussion is that military members, and I believe UN peacekeepers alike, deserve leaders bold enough to meet their subordinates where they are and unafraid to tirelessly advocate for their needs. It's an incredible time to be in the Coast Guard, in the military, or as a UN peacekeeper. Tomorrow's challenges will push all of our organizations to think differently in order to remain resilient and ready. The scope and pace of our missions demand that every peacekeeper has an equitable opportunity to reach their fullest potential. And those we support and defend deserve the broadest range of perspectives so that our teams may deliver a sustainable peace. I'd like to offer that the Coast Guard has truly led from the front on issues of diversity, equity, inclusion, and accessibility. We had the first U.S. warship to racially desegregate. We were the first U.S. military service academy to appoint women. And in 2022, our Commandant, Admiral Linda Fagan, became the first 4-star U.S. military female service chief. Yet we aren't immune to the forces of bias that still prevent gender equality from flourishing. Without question, strengthening such equality is a journey, it's not a destination. And in the spirit of this collaborative event, I'd like to share a little bit of my service's journey. In 2018, after nearly 3 decades, without having diligently studied the issues surrounding gender equality, the Coast Guard undertook such an operation with the RAND Corporation. In that quantitative and qualitative study, we took a reflective look at the unique barriers that face women in our military service. And at face value, a simple fact challenges my service, and I would argue probably UN peacekeepers every day. We simply cannot retain women at the same rate as we do men. While the Coast Guard has encouraging news about our accession rates, as nearly 40% of the newest Coast Guard Academy class is female, we remain unable to keep a large percentage of these members into their mid-career. In fact, cumulative retention gaps, those between men and women, emerge in the first 10 years of service and only grow over time. While we're encouraged that our retention of female members still remains high among our military organizations, our force is still only comprised of 16% women. In a U.S. society made up of 51% women, the question truly becomes, what barriers prevent the world's greatest Coast Guard from retaining its women at the same rate as their men? And our analysis offers three primary factors related to gender equity: work environments, career limitations, and personal life-related matters. First, our members, both male and female, have made it clear that what matters the most in their work environment is leadership. Truly caring leaders willing to meet subordinates where they are and create the conditions for their success. Men and women both thrive in environments where inclusive mentorship is prioritized, when policies support upward progression, when they can see themselves succeeding in the organization, and when they feel safe. For too long, many of these milestones have been far more attainable and accessible to men than women. In my service, we're tackling these challenges with such things as women-specific leadership and mentoring groups, strategic communication to the workforce, familiarizing all leaders with female-centric policies, expanding leadership training that emphasizes the importance of mentorship with a specific focus on reaching out to junior female members, and most importantly, rooting out all forms of sexual assault and harassment. Second, our members have signaled that women may not share a similar trust in the assignment and promotion process that supports their male peers. Examples such as Coast Guard ships having limited female quarters, thus restricting women's opportunities for success, or that at times a woman's additional duties are often simply assigned aligned with stereotypical female activities instead of what is best for their career. Or consider that worldwide assignments can be considerably more difficult for the roughly 52% of Coast Guard women who are also married to another active duty service member. Challenges of co-locating assignments and competing job aspirations strain work and family opportunities, especially when only 7% of Coast Guard men face a similar challenge. Solutions to these problems of gender equity lie in understanding the needs of women separate from their male counterparts, continuously monitoring retention trends and reasons for attrition, and designing policies that make serving more inclusive, not more difficult. Finally, our most nascent gender equity issue remains the barriers impacting personal life-related concerns. Challenges of work responsibilities balanced against pregnancy, caregiving leave, enduring child care, and many more topics make continued military and peacekeeping service difficult. The good news is that the Coast Guard has made significant strides turning existing resources into innovative policies. For example, we now have a parental leave augmentation program. This centrally funded program immediately assigns replacement members to a unit when a primary caregiver must take necessary parental leave. This simple shifting of resources allows the member to feel valued and provides the unit with a substitute during the necessary absence. Additionally, we've extended our caregiver leave from 42 days that had to be taken immediately after the birth to 84 days that can now be used at any point in the year subsequent to birth. We've also made nursing rooms mandatory at all units and even reimbursed members for breast milk shipments while deployed away from home. The facts are fairly simple. Gender barriers can be eliminated when organizations meet people where they are and aim for equitable opportunities for success. The humanitarian and peacekeeping workforces of tomorrow, I would argue, must reflect those they support and defend. My service is fully immersed and committed to this journey. However, there is much more to do. We must all remain steadfast until women have an equitable opportunity to succeed. Our workforce demands it, and those we support deserve it. Thank you.